If you're like me, you just watched Fire Force and all of a sudden your animation senses are all worked up trying to get some of that action.
Give it to me! Give it to me! Give it!
Well, luckily I happen to fuel the energy into my animation. So in this video, I'll be trying to make a Fire Force animation in 1 hour and 24 hours. First things first, I'll be creating my project on Flip-a-Clip, selecting my FPS and getting to work. After turning on the grid and onion skin, I'm ready for the 1 hour animation. I'll be trying to replicate a scene from Fire Force in my own style.
俺に悪魔はついて回る。悪にとっての悪魔になる。
I hope I'll be able to pull this off in an hour, or at least pull off something decent. Anyways, back to the video. So I'll be trying to replicate the previous Fire Force video I showed you, and it contains about 4 cuts. The first is this close-up cut of the stickman, and in the second cut, it's this scene where fire sparks up before switching to the third close-up cut of his legs. So far so good, I've been working at a decent pace. I hope I keep it up all through the 1 hour attempt. Now in this close-up cut of his legs, he bends them slightly then blasts forward with the fire coming out of his feet. I was sort of animating keyframes here, so for now it might not make sense, but trust the process, guys. In the final cut, he whooshes past the screen with the fire blasts behind his feet and at his back. This was a bit tricky to animate, but I eventually was able to keyframe it. Immediately I was done with keyframes, I went back to start adding details and in-betweens. I was doing this in the fastest and simplest way I could. Well, guys, the most terrible thing happened during the recording of the time-lapse.
No.
Yeah, you probably guessed it. My time-lapse recorder apparently stopped and somehow I lost the rest of the footage, but in general it took about 30 minutes more and I was done with the animation. Here's the edited result.
悪魔はついて回る。悪魔はついて回る。
So guys, what do you think? Did I do justice to the Fire Force animation in 1 hour? Now it's time for the 24-hour animation. For this one, I'll be freestyling the animation. I didn't even think of the animation beforehand. I just went along and made stuff up as I was animating. Obviously, a beginner in animation might not be able to pull this off, but there's some good news. You see, to get better at anything, animation included, you would need to cultivate a habit of constant practice, and that's where the sponsor of today's video comes in, Skillshare. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives. Overall, it's a wonderful platform to learn various creative skills regardless of your skill level or learning pace. Recently, I've been working on improving my animation effects and I found an amazing class on Skillshare called How to Create Smoke Effects by Johannes Fast. One thing I learned is how smoke moves in a lesson called The Theory of Smoke. Skillshare offers thousands of classes in animation, digital art, motion graphics, and more, making it the perfect place for artists like us. Whether you're into 2D animation, character design, or storytelling, there's a class for every skill level. Plus, this month, Skillshare is all about cultivating a daily art habit because real progress happens one step at a time, just as I had mentioned earlier on in the video. The first 500 people to use my link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So if you've been wanting to level up your animation skills, now's the perfect time to start. Click the link below and get started today. A massive thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. And now, let's get back to the animation. I'll have the red stickman charge up and blast out, whooshing past the black stickman. I'll draw these sketchy lines to show the blur as the stickman runs in top speed. It might look weird at first, but just trust the process. In the next cut, I'll animate the stickman raising up his face after being punched multiple times. He stretches out his hands and quickly grabs the red stickman running at top speed. After he grabs the red stickman, he takes off into the air, then finally throws down the red stickman. And with that, I've come to the end of the keyframing. All that's left is to work on the in-betweens. Before that, I'll draw this mountain background. The red stickman gets slammed into it. I went back to animate the black stickman get hit as the red stickman whooshes past him at top speed. Basically, I had to animate the stickman fall in the direction he got hit in. This took a while, so enjoy the short time lapse. After I finished with the black stickman, I went to work on the red stickman. I had to do the blur effect to make the sketch lines look good. Of course, I have a tutorial on how to do the blur effect. Just check out the tutorials playlist. After adding the black stickman into the animation, I went straight to animating the fire effect. Not necessarily a fire effect, but some sort of explosion as he blasts off the ground. I added heads to the stickman and worked on the impact frames for the red stickman. In this video, I wasn't following any specific pattern of animation. I just animated whatever part I wanted to first, then worked on others later. The impact frames took the most time though. I wanted it to look very good. I made about 3 impact frames for the scene where the red stickman charges up. The impact frames took quite some time to finish up, so feast on this time lapse for your short attention span fried brains. Once I finished up with the impact frames, I then went back to add heads into the animation. As I mentioned earlier, I just animated whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. In the scene where the black stickman catches the red stickman, I animated the red stickman running by at top speed before finally getting grabbed by the black stickman. By this time, I was around 5 hours into this animation. Yes, I was animating really slow. At the point where the black stickman grabbed him, I wanted him to show some sort of struggling before eventually falling into the arms of the black stickman. I went back to add in some blur effect to the red dash lines. After that, I added heads to the red stickman, then moved to another cut. In this cut, I animated the red stickman sort of struggling to release himself from the black stickman before giving up. After animating that part, I went back to the previous frames to draw a simple background to the animation. Of course, I had all the time to draw a better background, but if I spent time on little details, I probably wouldn't finish the animation. So I think a simple line background will do just fine. The next scene I went to animate was the part where the black stickman was flying up into the air. He then swings the red stickman down. I basically just copied frames and moved them slightly to sell the effect. At the point where the black stickman tosses him down, I used the blur dash lines to show the speed at which he falls down into the rock. To save you from the boring details, I went back to animation to add in some dust effects, especially at the scene where the red stickman dashes. Remember, if you ever want to learn how to animate like this, I have a tutorial playlist where I teach you how to animate effects like these. Just click the tutorial playlist link in the description. Once Once the dust effects was animated, I went back again to animate the ground-breaking effect as the red stickman dashes. Little details like this can really spice up a boring animation. I copied and pasted the ground effect into the background, then went straight to animate the flying debris. I didn't use Utapon cubes because I wanted to save my time. I animated regular rocks instead. I animated the rock-on ones to really give it a smooth feel as it breaks out of the ground. Enjoy the rock animation time-lapse. Once I was done with the rocks, I went to animate dust effects to necessary scenes, like the part where the black stickman grabs the red stickman. I was running out of time because I had spent so much time on other details and I needed to complete the animation before my fingers gave up on me. Animation takes a lot of time and patience, and if there's one thing we've learned from these animation challenges, it's that good animation needs enough time, but I sure hope I'm able to come out with a decent animation after spending this much time on it. The dust effects sure take quite a while to animate. In the next cut, I animated the dust on the ground slowly vanishing. I was animating this on 3s, so I basically copied and pasted a lot of frames. Next was this scene where the black stickman tosses the red stickman down. I animated those dust circles to show the intensity of the force. After this, I finished up the animation and called it a day. Well, that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it and want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel, slap the like button and check out other videos here.